Hi, what's up? It's a culture detective here investigating your favorite albums, and today I'm going to do my second review. Second review! Let's go! And I am going to do another local album review where I review an album from my own home, from where I'm born, where I'm at, where I'm raised, Hong Kong. And I've spent the last few months in a conquest to find one good album that came out of Hong Kong. And I can't. I can't find a single good album. I can't. It's either super generic and basic and boring and bland, or it's really cringy and tacky, or both. And it goes for all sorts of genres, from canto pop to canto rock to canto rap. The closest thing that came to being good was Eason Chan's Shall We Talk, Shall We Dance, which has these fun little disco funk tracks that are not well written at all, but I appreciate the creativity. At least you're not boring, so I'll give it that. But during my conquest for good Hong Kong music, I went to Reddit and I saw a list of artists that are not canto pop, not the generic canto pop artists. And one of the artists is My Little Airport, which is a twee pop indie pop duo. And this album that I'm going to be talking about is My Little Airport's 只因當時太緊張, or Because I Was Too Nervous at the Time. And aside from seeing this band's name from Reddit, apparently my former classmate, Ernest, also listens to them quite a bit and is quite a fan of this band as well. So when I took a screenshot of or a photo of the music that I'm listening to and say, yeah, this Hong Kong stuff, it's kind of generic. He's like, oh, check out My Little Airport. Check out this band. So I'm like, fine, I'll check them out. So I checked them out, and what? No way. I can't believe it. It's impossible. It's impossible. 冇可能嘅事. What? This finally a good Hong Kong album? What? And I was surprised. I have finally found one good album that came out of Hong Kong. But unfortunately, only one. But still one good album. And that is My Little Airports, Because I Was Nervous at the Time. I at first listened to their latest stuff, their latest albums, and I thought these two albums, while it has good musical ideas, they are still kind of repetitive and not as inventive or as creative as I hoped it would be. It still falls into some cliches. And then I listened to their earliest stuff, their debut album. While it's so much better than their latest stuff, it's still not as exciting. It's still really kind of laid back, kind of soft, and it's they're still developing their sound. But it is on their sophomore album when they finally broke the mold, when they finally hit the perfect spot. The perfect balance between the more aggressive, catchy side of twee pop to the more laid-back, cutesy, cartoony side. The perfect balance between the two really shows on this album. And this album was also released in 2005. And for an album like this to release in 2005 in Hong Kong, it's pretty damn ahead of its time. In fact, it's not even ahead of its time because pretty much no other act is able to kind of follow this pathway and not be like a direct rip-off or a carbon copy or something. So again, given that it is an album coming out from Hong Kong, it's like 21 minutes. It's really short. We have the album opener, Gigi Leung is Dead. Like, the band had come out with all these really bold titles. Like, in one of their albums, the last track is I want Dząng to die, and Dząng is I think the second chief executive of Hong Kong, and little did they know it's only going to get worse from there. But yeah, Gigi Leung is Dead is the album opener. While it has a really interesting song title, it's not really that good of an album opener. It has a really stiff beat. I like the very distorted guitars. It's like I'm listening to Loveless, but in a twee pop style. I also like the fun performances as well, but I think the melodies are a little bit too repetitive, the song is a little too brief, and musically it's a little cheap. The lyrics are kind of tongue-in-cheek in a cool way, but overall just not that great. Next track is called I Don't Know How to Download Good AV Like Iris Does, and AV means adult videos, which means porn. So, yeah, another really interesting title. And given that Hong Kong doesn't have this parental advisory thing, they can do whatever they want. They can say fuck in the song title, in the album title, and the government can't do anything for now anyways. And yes, lyrically it's interesting because it's really self-explanatory. The song is really about trying to download porn, and the lyrics are really blunt and hilarious, and I love it. The beats and the keyboards are tight and well performed. The song is really catchy. I also love how stripped back instrumentally it is in the verses, but in the chorus they get more dense and interesting. And we have the title track, which is really cartoony, once again really tongue-in-cheek, and the very amateurish vocals add to the adorableness of this album. It makes this album sound endearing. Also, I forgot to mention this, but you may think that in the album cover it's the band, because the band is a duo. It's one dude and one girl, but it's actually not them, because in every album cover it's usually a different person or a different couple. But anyways, back to this title track. It's this very cutesy love song, and I really love that one line where the singer, she says she accidentally touched the guy's palm and it made her feel very nutritious. And in the second half of the track, it introduces these very springy sort of keyboards, and it's really nice. And then we have 失落沮喪歌, or Lost and Sad Song, or Lost and Depressing Song. I mean, in the Chinese language, there are like 50,000 words for sadness. So 失落 is a kind of sadness, and then 沮喪 is also a kind of sadness. So it's technically sad song. But anyways, this track is the first Hong Kong song that I actually liked in Spotify, so that in my liked songs I could go back to this song easily and listen to it again and again, because it's actually really good. It's almost like they're venturing into post-punk territory, and you know me, I love post-punk, you know me. And this track is almost like Wire's Mannequin in a good way, and in a more pop flavor, and it's just really good. It's got the tight beats, the sweet chords, it's got everything. And we even have, again, it's called Sad Song, but instrumentally it's happy as hell. But lyrically it's still sad, especially with lines like, I can't imagine after seeing fairy tales, sometimes growing up is like the start of a tragedy. The next track is called 就當我是張如城. I don't know who is Jöng. It's a person, but 就當我是張如城. It's like, just think of me as Jöng, this guy. And while I like the fun, playful instrumentals, the male vocals, it's just not good. And this is not the only time he shows up vocally in their discography. And his vocals, man, it's just so flat. It's just so bland and flat. It's like a zombie singing, like not more like a robot singing, and it's just ruins the song for me, especially at the end where he's like la 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 la. Like I hate it when that happens. But that's just one song. The next song is called Pak Tin Shopping Centre, or Pak Tin Shopping Mall, and it's basically an interlude with laid back moody instrumentals and French. The singer saying French, which is pretty interesting. But not a great interlude. I don't think it's a great interlude. And then we have the next track, Leo, Are You Still Jumping Out of the Window in Expensive Clothes? Question mark. And it's another highlight on the album for me. It's in a 3/4 time signature, a really sort of dreamy waltz beat with guitars on top, and it's kind of nostalgic, and it sounds really cutesy and amateurish and endearing as well. And we have the track 你的微笑像朵花, which basically means your smile is like a flower. And it's another cutesy love song with lyrics that are lovely. And mainly because the vocals are not trying to be this melodramatic, oh, you are my moon and my sun in the sky. But it's more childish, and it has more personality because of that. It's more laid back as well. The instrumentals of this song is like some Toys R Us amusement park type beat, and it's actually pretty cool. And then we have the track 春天在車廂裡, which basically means like in a car, like in a section of a car during spring. And it's also more stripped back, and it's almost kind of a ballad. And this track is essentially about the singer reminiscing the time when she and another person riding on buses aimlessly all the way from like 2 to 10, and when they get tired they eat pretzels, which is pretty funny. And the album ends off with My Little Fish, which is a little bit anticlimactic for an ending. It's basically this really spacey, muffled, sweet song with pretty regular lyrics. You know the drill. But still, I think overall this album is actually pretty good. I still don't think it's a great album. It still has a lot of room for improvement. But am I surprised that there's a good album coming out from Hong Kong? Yes. And is the majority of the songs on this album good? Yes. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. My favorite song here is Lost Sad Song, and my least favorite is Think of Me as Jöng. I'm giving My Little Airports, because I was nervous at that time, an 8 out of 10. So, have you listened to this album? From 1 to 10, how much did you rate it? Like if you like it, and subscribe if you want more. And thanks for watching. Next album I'm going to review, oh, get ready for this one. It's going to be a Pak Ho Chow with 8. Also a classic album review that I was going to review this month. I'm pushing it to early March because I want to listen to that album more.